No, no, I can't sell these mangoes below 10 shillings. So that means 10 is 100. Maybe I'll add one extra. I crept around the other side of the stall and began to crawl on all fours, hearing Boniface had engaged her. I snaked my hand up the back of the cart and felt my fist clenched around the precious mango. But then the woman turned around to see my small hand appear and shouted the word, the deadly word, thief! I froze. I stopped and dropped the mango instantly. My heart was pounding. I had seen people burned to death by mob justice for stealing tiny things like a mango. In this country, those who steal huge amounts of money, like from the government, don't get punished. But when you steal a mango in a crowded market from a poor man, you know you're done. People surrounded me, and I felt hands raining on my flesh. They beat me, kicked me. Boniface ran. He had to. As my small body absorbed blow after blow, everything blurring, I hoped he was safe. The mob came thick and fast. They didn't care that I was a kid, no more than 10 years old. They didn't even know what I had stolen. I heard some people asking, "What did he steal?" and others responding, "He's a thief." I felt my rib crack, searing pain all over my small frame. I tried to grit my teeth the way I did when Bobby beat me, but there was no escape, no bracing myself to withstand the blows of so many people at once. Suddenly, the crowd parted, and someone forced his way through. I couldn't clearly see him. Everything was spinning and blood pouring from my nose, but I could vaguely make out that he was nicely dressed. "I want to know what's going on in here," he shouted. Then he saw me, a curled up ball of dirt and blood. "Wait, I think this is a little boy. Why are you doing this?" He stepped in front of me, forming a barrier between the pulsating crowd and me. People threatened to beat him too. "You can't support a thief." Then he said, "Wait, I want to pay for this kid. What did he steal?" Nobody answered. Then a young man behind me shouted with menace, "Mango!" And the man asked again, "How many mangoes did he steal?" Nobody answered. He insisted, "Who did he steal the mango from?" People called for the vendor. She came over slowly from her spot over the sideline, and he asked, "How many mangoes had he stolen?" "One," came the answer. "I'm paying. If I pay, can you let the boy go for free?" He implored the crowd. "No, no, no. He has to be taught. He has to be taught discipline. He will do it again, and he will become a bigger thief," they shouted back. I was shaking. I still could not speak. I looked into his eyes and said, "Please don't leave me. If you leave me, I'm dead. I will pay more than one mango. This boy is bleeding. He has already been taught a lesson. We have to stop this. He is a child. Look at him. He is so small. You don't treat kids like this." The vendor held out her hand, and I couldn't see how much money the man put in with his clenched fist. He looked down at me and offered me his hand to pull myself up. The mob stepped back, and then everyone slowly began to return to whatever they had been doing. The excitement was over. My freedom was bought. Finally, I could speak, and I said, "Thank you so much. Thank you so much. May God bless you." The man held me up, and we walked away together, his arm loosely over my shoulder to help me walk, my limping body still racked with pain. I was certain several ribs in my nose were broken. He asked me why I had done it and said that stealing was bad. I told him I had not eaten for the past 2 days and was very hungry. He took me to a shop and bought me 3 packets of maize flour and even gave me 100 shillings. "Who are you?" I asked him incredulously. "I'm a man of God," he said, before sending me my way. I thought about my mom and her prayers. I had read about the Bible. I had heard some sermons in the church. I had heard about the angels. Now, for sure, I believed in them. The angels' food didn't last long, and one morning I could not stand the hunger any longer. I was tired of hearing Jackie and Liz crying. I decided to cross the river and climb the hill to visit Langata in its missionary home, Missionaries of Charity. I took responsibility for our welfare, despite the irony that often I might be forbidden to eat even the food I brought home. There was a long line of hungry women from the slum at the missionary home waiting and pleading for the sisters with food. The sisters were so nice, but the line of too many people overwhelmed them. I was a little boy of 10, and the angry and hungry women clamoring for their place in line were squashing me. I could barely breathe. I was the only child who came to look for food for his family. The rest were grown women, mothers themselves. The women fought one another, but they had sympathy for me as I was the only child in line. As the sisters asked about my family and gave me the desperately needed food, some of the women neighbors went back home with nothing. While I carried my bag with triumph, my mother and siblings were proud of me. Begging for food from the missionaries became a routine that I did once a week.
I think, Jane, up to there.